Tonight's shir, you ready, Adi? Tonight's shir is sponsored by the Blumen Mishpacha, L'schus Refuah Shlema, for Kalman Ben Gittel, Mirz Hashem. These words of Torah that we'll discuss tonight should be a L'schus Refuah Shlema for him. And it is also sponsored anonymously, L'schus Refuah Shlema, for Naomi Leah Bas Rivka Anya, and Linishmas Avram Nachum Ben Yisrael Moshe. May both of those, both Leah Bas Rivka Anya, have refuah shlema, and may these words of the Torah be a schus le'ili nishmaso of Avram Nachum Ben Yisrael Moshe. So we were discussing last week the halacha of Mumar. By the way, I came across this week a Gemara in Hurrius. The Gemara in Hurrius is on Daf Yud Aleph Amid Aleph. The Gemara in Hurrius on Daf Yud Aleph Amid Aleph has a machlokes in the Gemara whether or not a mumar lahachis is the din of a min. The Gemara has legabe karbonos, so our shaila is really totally on a machlokes amoraim that I left off with last week. That the Gemara said everyone was made that mumar lahachis was just pasal edus, but no one suggested that he was dino ka'akum. But that itself is a machlokes, another machlokes amoraim in the Maseches Hurrius on Daf Yud Aleph Amid Aleph.
Doesn't that tend to support what I think what Adam said?
That what?
Which was that in this case you can only be lahachis in the case of B'teava?
That it would only be.
You can only have a case of lahachis when it was B'teava. Is that what you said last week?
That it was, again, remind me again, that you said, I asked the question that if you hold Mumar lahachis, and by the way, this is why I came across it. The Gemaras in Chulin, the Rishonim in Chulin are talking about a Mumar lahachis being sheichet, a behema, and the Rishonim there write befeirished that a Mumar lahachis is like an akum shechting. So that just strengthens our question. So why in Hilchos Eidus isn't the same halacha that a Mumar lahachis is also just a din of an akum? Why is it a machlekes Abai and Rava whether or not Mumar lahachis is kosher? So you said that maybe it's dafka achilas nevelis. No, but you see from that Gemara, not right. The Gemara. I understand what you're saying. That is, I mean, maybe the Gemara, maybe our Gemara is only talking about achilas nevelis, and that Gemara, that regular machlekes, is by all other kol Torah kula, and not by nevelis. I mean that sections off our Gemara from the rest of the Shas. Interesting. Okay, very good. So the Zok the Gemara. Mumar Rachel Nevelis L'Teyam Divrei Kol Pasal Lahachas Abai Amar Pasal Rav Amar Kasher. Abai Amar Pasal Davli Rasha V'Rachmana Amar Al Tashis Rasha 8. Rav Amar Kasher Rasha Dechamas Ba'inon. So that was the Gemara that we learned last week. So we suggested last week a Chakira, a Machlokes. We pointed out it's 2 days in the Yad Ramah, and we said it was a Machlokes between the K'tzos and the Nesivis Lahalacha, and there was major nafkaminas on the Shaila. What is the machlokes Abai and Rava? So we suggested the pashtus is that Rava is saying Rav shad dechamas ba'inan because you need a person that your choishish is going to be a shakron. The Torah didn't passel every rush in the Torah. It's not every avera that you're called a rasha. It's rather a rasha dechamas, either a person that can't control his desire. Whatever we said, Rashi said the hana of things are cheaper. He's willing to do averas in order to save a little money. Other Rishonim say their explanation. Linyanenu Rava says that it's a chash b'shakir. That's why you need a Rasha Dechamas. Not every Rasha is possible. Whereas Abaye, we suggested two options with an Abaye. And the reason why it's important for us to focus on Abaye is because we're going to see in the Gemara that the Gemara is going to say, V'hilchasaka Abaye, this is one of the 6 cases that we pass on like Abaye over Rava. So now it's very important for us to now analyze what is the reason that Abaye passes. Is that Abaye is saying, no, I don't accept your svara of Chash Meshakir. I think when the Torah says Al Toshis Rasha 8, it now passled and created a psul guf on every Maisa Aveira, even if it's an Aveira that doesn't lend itself to Sheker. Even if it's an Aveira that's not found in the world of Sheker. The fact that the Torah called you a Rasha, Rishoim have a psul guf, just like a Karov is a puzzle for Eidos, even though he could be, like the Gemara says, Moshe and Aaron, the most ne'emonim in the world, the Gemara Bava Basra says, are puzzled to be made for each other. Who can you get that's more ne'eman than those two brothers? Yet they're krovim and they're puzzled, the Gemara says. So too, when it comes to a Rasha, Zokt Abayi, it's a psul guf, it's a Xeris HaKosov, it's not because of the Shad Meshaker. That was one day in the Yad Ramah. The other day in the Yad Ramah was that no, Abaye agrees with the end of the pasuk. Abaye is not saying that the pasuk is saying two things. Abaye is saying, who is a Rasha that's chashid l'shaker? Who is a Rasha d'chamas? The Torah was bothered. I'm asking, I'm in your yeshiva, Rava. I understand like you understand that it's all about lying. But I have a different scale of who's suspected to lie. According to you, it's only a person that's driven by hana, that's driven by money. According to me, it's anyone that doesn't care, that the laws of the Torah is not on his radar scale, is not on his halachas. He's a rasha, but he was still within the realm of a chashid l'shaker. So we pointed out that the Nemuki Yosef says that according to Abaye, it seems like this person who's a rasha would mean demon in other areas. It's not 100% clear in the words of the Nemuki Yosef which areas he's talking about. So the K'tzai Sachoshen said that the way to read the Nemuki Yosef is that he would be Neman by Eidas Isha, even by any guna, to be an Eidecha, to say Meis Baila, that her husband died, because over there the Torah accepts Psulim, and says the K'tzai, but the Torah doesn't accept anyone who's Chashel L'Shakir. So it says the K'tzai Sachoshen, I'm going to explain to you what the Nemuki Yosef meant. He was telling us an unbelievable hezber in the Gemara that Abaye and Rav had a fundamental machlokes about the nature of psulei edus in all dinei Torah that need edus, and therefore it falls short of edus isha. Abaye held that all psulim are pasul, but where psulim are kosher, then Abaye says you're not going to passel the rishayim, a person who doesn't have achshav l'shaker. The only one who's going to be pasul in edus isha is a chashid l'shaker. So all of the lists of Abaye, like a Mumar oichel nevelos lahachis, that's not a chashid l'shaker. He's just a rasha, he does the aveira. So says the Nemuki Yosef, according to the interpretation of the K'tzos, that what? He's nemon legabe edus isha, because he's missing what passes edus isha, which is a chashid l'shaker. And the other opinions didn't agree. They understood Abaye differently. And they understood Abaye was also chashel l'shaker. If Abaye is also chashel l'shaker, it would come out that what? Even by edus isha, anyone who does an aveira, even if it's lahachis, is also possible to be made meis baila. So this machloikas, the K'tzais and the Nesivos, how to read the Nemuki Yosef, has unbelievable nafkaminas in the world of iguna, of whether or not they would be neman in an area that the Torah allows, the Torah is lenient about hilchos edus. So how you learn Abaye is going to be a tremendous implication. Good. So that was what we presented last week. The Gemara proves. The Gemara says, Meisvei, the Gemara asks Asakasha, this is where we got up to. Al Toshes Rasha Eid, Al Toshes Chamas Eid. The Brisa says you should not have a Rasha or a Chamson as an Eid. What are these? Says the Gemara. The Brisa goes on, Elu Gazlonim, these are people who steal, Umoyolin Bishvuos, and people who swear and they don't keep to their word. Ask the Gemara, my lav, it says shvuos in plural. My lav, isn't it speaking about echad shvuos shav ve'echad shvuos mamon? Doesn't it also refer to not only shvuos mamon, that a person doesn't keep his word in the court of law in the areas of financial swearings, but what? Even a shvuah shav, even if a person would swear falsely when it would come to things mundane like swearing that this chair is green, swearing that this table is brown, something that doesn't affect mammon. So what would that be a proof, Rabbi Isai? The Gemara is trying to suggest if it's including both shvuos and the Torah is saying is pasul edus, then you see, like Abaye, you see you don't need a rasha d'chamas. You see you don't need anything to connect it to mammonis. But anyone who violates the laws of the Torah is pasul la'edus. So the Gemara says, no, lo idi v'idi shvuos mamon. Umay shvuos da'alma. It meant it colloquially, it meant just the general shvuos, but it was only referring to financial matters. So the Gemara goes on, meisvei al toshes rasha eid, al toshes chamer eid, elu gazlonim umilva ribios. The Gemara says, what is rasha and what is chamas? The Gemara says it's talking about Gazlanim and Milva Baribis. So the Gemara asks, really? Only Gazlanim and Milva Baribis? So then that is a raya that what? Like Rava. That who is the Rasha? It's only a Rasha de Chamas. Tiyufta da Abaye tiyufta. So the Gemara says you're right. That brisa is actually a murderous kasha against Abaye because the Gemara only lists cases that would be Rasha de Chamas. But now we have to go on and look at the Gemara, and even though it's fascinating, even though the Gemara has a tiyufta de Abaye tiyufta, the Gemara goes on to say that the halacha is going to be like Abaye. The Gemara is going to deal with this. But now I want to focus. Look at what the Gemara says. The Gemara says, Nema ketanoi. Maybe we should say this machlokes Abaye and Rava that we've been presenting about whether or not a mummer who does an aveira, he eats nevelis, lahachis, without a drive, is going to be pasal edus because he's a rasha, or no, he's not going to be pasal because he's not a rasha de chamas. That's going to be a machlokes tanoim. What machlokes tanoim? Name it ketanoi. Eid zoymim. You have an eid zoymim. Eid zoymim. So we know both Abaye and Rava agree that eid zoymim is pasal. What we learned above is just there was a machlokes. Is he pasal retroactively, or is he only pasal mikana lahaba? That's a machlokes Abaye and Rava. So Gemara says, what happens if you have an eid zoymim that he got caught in a lie? The eid zoymim got caught in a lie in Dine Mominus. But he didn't necessarily get caught in a lie in Dine Nefashis. So after he gets caught in a lie in Dine Mominus, he happens to have Eidus for a Dine Nefashis case. Can we use this aid? Is he a valid aid or is he not a valid aid? Do you extrapolate from the fact that he's puzzle in the world of financial matters that now we can't use him in any other court case, even in more severe cases like Dine Nefashos? Or do we say, no, he was only puzzle in Dine Mominus, but not necessarily that he would lie in Dine Nefashos? So Gemara presents a machlekes tanoim about this. Eid zamin paisel l'chol haTorah kula, divrei Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir says it doesn't matter. If he's puzzle for one, he's puzzle for the other. If he only got nailed in Dine Mominus, he's going to be unacceptable in a case of Dine Nefashos. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Bamed Varam Amurim Shehuzim B'Dine Nefashos, Huzim B'Dine Mominus Kosher L'Dine Nefashos. Rabbi Yossi says, no, you don't go from Kula L'Chumra, you go from Chumra L'Kula. If he's puzzled for Dine Nefashos, he lied about a death penalty case, then this guy's a liar. And we're not going to use him for anything. But if he just lied in the financial courts, so then we're not going to now invalidate him for a death penalty and a Dine Nefashos case.
He still lives, right?
What?
Assuming he still lives.
That's a good point. Why is he...
If he is woman to...
That's a great point. So l'ch'oira, it has to be where you could be in a zoymim, and the Torah tells us that if they killed him, you don't get the punishment. Kasher zaman lo kasher asa. So Adi's pointing out is a great ha'ara. You would have to set up, if we're discussing whether or not we're going to use this edus, it has to be a case where the guy was put to death. Which, interesting. I didn't think about that. Okay, good. So now, the Gemara says, Neima Abaye Rabbi Meir, Virava Rabbi Yossi. What? Maybe the machlokes about Mumar Oichel Nevelis Lahachas, about a guy who does an Averu, who the Torah calls a Rasha, is he considered Pasal Eidus, even if it wasn't for no drive? That's going to be like Rabbi Meir, and that's going to be like Rabbi Yossi. If you think that this Gemara is a Pella, and you have no idea what the connection between these two ideas are, I'm with you. This Gemara is a Pella. What's the Gemara mixing apples and oranges? Name Abaye Krab Meir v'Rava Krab Yossi. Abaye Krab Meir. Abaye said nothing about this. Da'amar Amrinan Mikula L'Chumra. V'Rava Da'amar Krab Yossi. Da'amar Michula L'Kula Amrinan Mikula L'Chumra Loi Amrinan. Let's see Rashi, if Rashi can help us out over here. Abaye Krab Meir, says Rashi, Dahainu Nami Mikula L'Chumra. Why? What's Kula L'Chumra in Abaye's world? The Oichel Nevelis Rala Shamayim. Oh, Rashi adds in something. Ve'eno Rala Brius. A person who eats nevelis, I'm not bothering you by eating nevelis. Let me be, right? Don't give me musar. Don't give me teichacha. I'll do my averis. I'll deal with it when the time comes. And you do your thing. Aval meid sheker b'mamon rala shamayim v'rala brias. But a person who lies, he's now affecting society. Shari mafsidim beidusa v'kapasale be'abai mishnevelis le'edus mamon. What is Abai doing? Abai is saying a guy did an avera. He wasn't bothering anyone. The fact that he did an avera, which is only rala shamayim, zokt Rashi, now he's going to now be puzzled even in the world of what? Where he's taka stealing money from people. He's taking money, shalekadin. He's being made sheker. That's rala brias. Who says just because a person did something that was rala shamayim that he's now going to jump mikula lechamirta and he's going to be a menace to society? How did Abaye know that you could say jump from one to the other? Must be, says the Gemara, Abaye held like the idea of Rabbi Meir, that once you're puzzled from one, you're puzzled from the other. You go mikula l'chirta. If a guy is going to lie and is going to be an eid zaymim in the world of dinei mamanis, so we assume he's going to be in the world of dinei nefashos also. We'll jump mikula l'chum. So the Gemara says, it seems like Abai is like Rabbi Meir, but Rabbi is like Rabbi Yossi. So says the Gemara, lo, alibedu Rabbi Yossi kuli amalel pligi. You're right. Abai could never fit with the world of Rabbi Yossi. Like that's correct. But says the Gemara, ki pligi, but Rava could still fit in the world of Rabbi Meir, and it's not the same exactly machlokes Tana. Ki pligi alibedu Rabbi Meir. Abai and Rava could both fit Rabbi Meir. Abai Rabbi Meir, Abai fits very well with Rabbi Meir, because Abai, just like Abai jumps from just Rala Shamayim to Rala Briya, so to Rabbi Meir jumps from Eid Zayim Dinei Mamanis to Eid Zayim Dinei Nefashos. You go Mikul L'Chomerta. V'Rava Adkan Lo Kab Rabbi Meir Hasam El Gabi Eid Zayim De Maman De Rala Shamayim V'Rala Briyas. Aval Hacha De Rala Shamayim V'Ein Rala Briyas Lo. Says Rava, absolutely not. I could fit with the world of Rabbi Meir. Don't say that my opinion is only like Rabbi Yossi, not like Rabbi Meir, says Rava. Because I'm talking about a situation where it's Mumar Ochel Nevelis, where he's only what? He's only Rala Shamayim. So that's where I say he's kosher if it's lahachas. But where did Rabbi Meir say his opinion that once you're in Eid Zayimim, you're puzzle, and you could jump even Mikul Chamirta? That's in a situation where what? You're Ra Labrius. I agree, if you're Ra Labrius, like an Eid Zayimim, so then you're going to be Chashad L'Shaker in everything, and we're going to jump even from Dinei Mamanis to Dinei Nefashos. So just to analyze what just happened in the Gemara over here, Rabbi say, before we get to just understanding what Rava just shifted and what Rava just added in to the world of Psula Edis. When the Gemara discusses this idea of Mikula L'Chamurta, I mean, doesn't this sound like one of the tzdadim that we suggested at the beginning of this year? Doesn't this Gemara itself make most sense if the issue of Bein La'abayi and Bein L'Rava is about Chshad L'Shaker? What do you mean Mikula L'Chamirta? The way I would phrase that and explain the Gemara is, would you say that a guy who's Chashid L'Shaker, who potentially would lie, in a world of Kal, is now Chashid L'Shaker also in a more severe world? Or do you say we don't go Mikala L'Chamirta? Do you say that an individual who's only Rala Shamayim is now going to be Chashid, to be Meshaker, to Rala Brias? This whole Gemara's entire presentation is a raya against what we learned in the Nimukei Yosef last week, that the Pshat and the Machlokes Abaye and Rava is all about what? That Abaye doesn't accept Chshad L'Shaker. The Pashas of the Gemara is it's all about Chashad L'Shaker. And the Machlokes is on what we say you're Chashad. Rava is holding you're only Chashad if you're found Chashad in that more severe area. And Abaye says, no, We say once a person will lie for anything, we assume he would lie for anything, even if it's a lower level. But it's all about chashad l'shakir. The only way for us to explain the other way in the Gemara is just that Abaye is saying, just like we jump categories over here, we jump categories over there. And Mikul al-Chamruta, we could jump categories. But if it's about a psul Russia, so what does it have to do with Achshash Mikul al-Chamirta? It's just about the fact that you're puzzle in one, you're puzzle in the fact that you're Rala Shamayim, so now that creates a psul everywhere. The pashtus in the Gemara, the flow in the Gemara, fits much better if you hold that it's working with a psychology. It's working with Achshash l'Shaker, but not only in the world of Rava, in the world of Abaye. Unless you say that's exactly what Rava is introducing over here. That when Rava creates this argument and he says, no, it's only in a situation of Ralabrius, that's what Rav is saying. Rav is saying there's more of a chshad l'shakir, and Abaye just never bought into any of this, and therefore Abaye just says there's no kul and chamurta categories. Abaye just says if you're puzzle, you're puzzle. It doesn't matter what you did. And Abaye was arguing fundamentally that it's a psul guf, and it's not about mikula l'chamirta. What I'm trying to say is, does Abaye have this concept of kula l'chamirta? Or is that just the Gemara explaining both Abaye and Rava, but really it only exists in the world of Rava? If you understand Abaye has this rationale of jumping Mikul Chamirta, that sounds like Abaye is also working with the framework that the reason why he's puzzle at the baseline is because we're worried about he's going to lie. So now we can differentiate between more severe, less severe. But if you hold that it's just a psul guf, what does Kul Chamirta have anything to do with it? It's a psul guf. The Torah puzzled it. Who cares? It's not what he's gonna do. It's not as if he's jumping from one area to the next. So that's just a ha'ara just from the Divrei HaGemar. But what comes out, Rabbi Yisai, is that Rava just rediscovered America. When we presented Rava, Rabbi Yisai, we presented Rava that it's very simple. Only one type of person is Pasal Eidus. Up until now, we were convinced that Rava was limited very much who is Pasal Eidus. A Rasha Dechamas. Rasha Dechamas. Now Rava is saying, it's not necessarily true. Rava is saying, you know who else is Pasal? Someone who is Ra Librius. Someone who is Ra Librius. So now I have a basic question, Rabbi say, that the Rashash brings up. So you need it to be Ra Librius? You need it to be Ralabrius. So what about a Mumar Ochel Nevelis L'Teyavim?
Is the Shashek Ralabrius or not?
I think it's Ralabrius, yeah. That's what the Gemara is saying. Abaye doesn't hold of Ralabrius.
But he holds of Shashek according to that one track.
Right.
So if it was just worse Shashek, we said last week that even Lahafas could be a Shashek.
Correct. Correct.
Then how would that fit in? Because
how would that fit in with what?
With Ralabrius, because
Abaye doesn't hold of Ralabrius. Abaye doesn't need Ralabrius. Rav is saying what type of person is puzzle if he's Ralabrius. That's what Rav is saying. That's why. If I ask Rava, why isn't Eid Zayman puzzle? So what's Rava going to answer me? He just answered me. Because he's Ralabrius. So now we redefined it. Redefined. I did it. Okay. Redefined. We redefined. Rava, that you don't need a Rasha Dechamas, but you could just have Ralabrius, or every Rasha Dechamas needs also Ralabrius? Is that the pshat? So the Rashash asks, Rabbi Yisai, look at the Rashash in the back. The Rashash asks, Mumar Ochel Nevelis L'Teyavim. Rava, you're not erasing what you said above. You agree that as long as he's eating the Nevelis for a drive, that he's Pasal Eidus. So where's the Ralabrius there? Where's the Ralabrius there? So if you look at the Rashash is very bothered with this Gemara. Nema Ketanoi, V'chol Asugya, to the bottom of the Alkema Farsh. L'choyra Kosha, to Habala Te'ov and have a Gamkin Mikula L'chumra, The ba'achila nevela ein a ralabrius. Then kain amaymoy de Rava. How's Rava now going to explain with this new explanation? Why is a mumar oichel nevelis l'teyavin puzzle? Who said just because you owe it nevelis l'teyavin, now you're going to lie? That's ralabrius. That was between you and the Rabbeinu Shalom. Chen loy v'beribis. So listen to what he says. Fascinating. V'yesh loymar, de taima de Rava, de machshir b'lahachis. Says the Rashash, Rava, we need to reinterpret Rava. Rava responds to Abaye. Rava holds a mumar oichel nevelis lahachis, a guy who eats nevelis with no desire, he is kosher. That's what Rava says. Mumar oichel nevelis lahachis, who dekeven de eno nenem imenu, since he gets no benefit from eating those nevelis, al korchach hu de over alei, eno rak mishum de loy machshiv lo la'avera. So what's the reason that he's doing this? Says the Rava, because we presented it differently last week. We presented it as if it's in spite of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Says the Rashash a different pshat. A guy, a mumar ochel nevelis la'achis, the reason why he's doing it, he has two pieces of meat in front of him. It's just not on his radar. That avera is just not something that he considers. Not necessarily because it's a rejection of it. It's just like, it's not baba cheshbon. Averas, that avera, nevelis, is just not in his, on his mind. That's lahachis. Listen to what the Rasha says. That's right. Because the Rav is saying there's no drive. Lachein lahoid sheker dechamira mina amrinon demachshiv leila avera v'lo over alei. So Rava argues, but in another avera, maybe it would be on his radar. The only reason he's not doing this avera is lachis is because it's just not on his radar. It's because he's not machshiv it to be an avera. Aval heicha de'eno ochel elo l'teyavon, says the Rashash. But when he's eating it for a drive, imchein chazinon de machshiv lo la'avera rak de taivoso ma'aviraso. But when he does the avera l'teyavon, it's not the pshat that we could assume that this avera doesn't exist, like lahachis. This avera does exist. And he struggles with this avera. Yet what? The taiva supersedes and overrides and now pushes the avera and him to transgress this avera, which is on his radar. That's what l'teyavon does. Rak te taivaso ma'aviraso. Oh, if that's the pshat, says the Rashash, l'chein chashdinon le, de gam chemdas mamon tavirenu. So then we're choshid that also other taivas will cause him to be over, and he's going to come and lie when those averas exist. Va'af lahara labrius, and also in a situation of lahara labrius, if a person is a ra labrius, so then that's an avera that exists, but he overrides it. So then memela, that's when he's going to be puzzled. It sounds like from the Rashash. You don't need to be a Rasha dechamas. But the ikar is what? Just not to be a mumar lahachis. Not to be a mumar lahachis. So the Minchas Chinuch happens to go similarly with this. Minchas Chinuch holds that Rava agrees that an Eid Zoymim is possible, because that's beferish in the Gemara. Abaye and Rava just disagreed when an Eid Zoymim is possible from. But no one disagrees that an Eid Zoymim is possible Eidus. Says the Minchas Chinuch, yeah, an Eid Zoymim is possible. Why? Not because he's a Rasha Dechamas. Not every Eid Zoymim is necessarily because he's being paid off to be made. We explain it like that because it's a better story. Why would a guy get involved in the chait, in the sheker, because another guy is slipping him, $300,000 in order to be made so that he could win his $1 million case? Fine. But lav dafka, a person could be an Eid Zoymim, he could lie just for the sake of lying, or because he likes whatever other reason. Not necessarily it's a Rasha Dechamas. So it says the Minchas Chinuch, you want to know why Rava passes a person who's an Eid Zoymim? Because there was a chiddush in this Gemara. Once we made this Nemek Tanoi, and Rava explained how he could also fit with Rabbi Meir, Rava added in a new klal. Anyone who's Ra Labrius is Pasal Eidus. Means that you don't necessarily need a Rosh Hashanah, like we assumed according to Rava. According to the Minchas Chinuch, there's two tracks. There's a Rosh Hashanah, and then there's a Ra Labrius. And there's going to be an Afkamina. Ask you the following shayla. Okay? An Eid Zaymim is the only one that knows Eidus for an Iguna. Meis Baila. It's Eid Zaymim. Can we accept his Eidus or not? Again, according to the opinion, like the Mugi Yosef, like the Ktsais that we learned last week, that when it comes to Eidus Isha, will be makel, at least on a level of the Raisa, Me'ikar Adin will be makel about the psulim of Abaye. And we're only concerned about a chashad l'shakir. We're only concerned with what Rava originally we assumed was concerned about, like the Rosh Hashanah, those that are going to be a chash sheker, like a gazlan. So when it comes to Eidus Isha, what about an Eid Zaymim? Would he be accepted? Says the Minchas Chinuch, according to what I just explained to you, Rabbi Isai, what should be the din by an Eid Zaymim? He's only a psul. He's not a chshad l'shakir. He's pasul in Eidus according to Rava because there's a new svar of Ra Labrius, but he's not a Rosh Hashanah, so he should be accepted. His Eidus should be accepted. Okay, maybe the Minchas Chinuch argues if you caught him in a lie in those areas, so maybe he's chashid, but you say dover, fine. But if he's tam an Eid Zaymim in one area, we're not necessarily going to invalidate him, just like we accept other psulim, like a goy, like a woman in the area of Iguna, that we have certain leniencies in the area of Iguna. Yeah, Eitan. Yeah.
How's it different from sheker? What's the chiluk between?
No, Zomim and Sheker.
So
Why isn't he chashal l'shakir? Because the way we understood last week was that Rava understood that you only assume that a person is always going to lie if he has a drive. So Eitan's saying a different svara. Eitan's saying maybe Eid Zaymim, even if it's not a Rosh Hashanah, even if it's not paid off, he's mamish a liar. He's mamish a liar. So he's a vada. Rosh Hashanah is the one that is the chiddush. Now, how do you know that he's going to lie just because he has taivas? But if a guy already lied, so Eitan's saying, there, I don't even need to explain why he's puzzle. Okay, but the Minchas Chinuch is coming from the standpoint of whoever's puzzle is from the pasuk of Rosh Hashanah. Right, exactly. Or the pasuk says, "Al tashish Rosh Eid Lios Eid Chamas." I need an Eid Chamas to pass. But Rabbi Kiva Eger had a different pshat. Listen to this pshat of Rabbi Kiva Eger. Rabbi Kiva Eger is a tshuva about this. In Madura Tinyana Siman Mem Zayin, Kiva Eger says something fascinating, and it's a reinterpretation of our entire Gemara. Rabbi Kiva Eger says no. Rava, when he introduced Ra Labrius, he was expounding and he was saying that becomes a Rosh Hashanah. Someone who's a menace to society, someone who's Ra Labrius, that is just expanding all of Rosh Hashanah. And Rabbi Kiva Eger has a bam raya to his mahalach. The Gemara in Yevamis on Daf Chaf Heyam Beis discusses a guy who walks into court and he says, "Your husband died." But then he adds a little bit more information. You know how I know? How did I know? Because I killed him. Haragtiv. So the Gemara in Yevamis Chaf Heyam Beis pulls up which sugya Rabbi Yisai? Palgin and Dibura. The Gemara on Daf Testament Beis. Instead of the story, you have a different episode. Instead of the story of Ploini Ravani Lertzoini, instead of I slept with this man, now you have, right, there's great shows in the Gemara, right? They're all great up. Now you have your husband died, but I killed him. So Rav Yosef says, Palgin and Dibura, ain't the Meis Matzah, or we Neman, or we're not Neman. What's the problem, Master of Kiva Eger? Why is he puzzled? This is Rava talking in the Gemara there. Why is he puzzled? So the Rishonim say, what do you mean, why is he puzzled? You crazy? He's a Ritzeach. Yeah. And therefore what? So he's a Ritzeach. So what? So he's a Rasha. He's a Ritzeach. Yeah. I got it, Abaye. I know Rishonim are puzzled Edis. Rava, give me some information. Why is he puzzled, Rava? Well, he's a Roitzeach. I'm not going to give him after Yaina. I'm not going to be Mechaben in the shul. But why is he Posel Eidus? He's a Roitzeach. Zokter Kiva Eger, because he's Ra Labrius. Which Brius? The guy he just killed. He's Ralabrius. He's Ralabrius. Zokter Kiva Eger, and it must be that the Ralabrius of our Gemara is a redefinition and an expansion and plug back in to Rasha Dechamas, not like what the Minchas Chinuch just said, Rabbi Yisai. Why? Where do I have a raya, said Rabbi Kiva Eger? It must mean that anyone who's Ralabrius, anyone who's a menace to society, who's bad to other people, who's a Rotzeach, is now going to be considered a Rasha Dechamas, and we're not using two categories, says Rabbi Kiva Eger. What's the raya, Rabbi Yisai? He's a bomb raya. Anyone can help me out here? Again, the case is, your husband died. How do you know? I killed him. So the Rishonim say there, why is he puzzle? He's a Rotzeach. So now we asked, why is that puzzle according to Rava? Abaye makes sense. According to Rava, why is he puzzle? Because Ralabrius. Rabbi Yisai. Says Rabbi Kiva Eger, what are we talking about in the context of? What is the Eidus here? It's Aguna. Wait, Aguna last week we said we're more lenient about Psulim. We're only Choshesh, and we're only concerned with who? With Choshesh L'Shaker. So one second, I have a question on Abaye from that Gemara. Why is he puzzled? Even on Abaye. Very nice. In the world, in all other Eidus, in your cases that you're going to use this guy to be an aid, he'll be puzzled. But we're talking about Eidus Isha, Haragtiv, I killed him. Meis Baila. Why is he puzzled? Zetman Fundo says Reb Kiva Eger, you see that it's enough of a psul that would even puzzle in the world of what? Eidus Isha. Which means a psul of Reitzeach is now a Rasha Dechamos, which is going to be a nafkamina not only in the world of Rava, but even in the world of Abaye, according to the way we explain Lafid and Muki Yosef. That Abaye would accept non-Choshed L'Shakers, non-Rasha Dechamas in the world of Igun, in the world of Esa D'Sisha. So says Reb Kiva Eger, I have a raya to the way Rava learns Ralabrius, that now such a person is considered Rasha Dechamas, but it's even Nogeya Lahalocha, Lafi Abaye, Lafi, what we presented last week within the K'tzais and the Nimki Yosef, that in the world of Eidus Isha, we would be more relaxed as long as you're not a Choshed L'Shaker. So if you need to be a Choshed L'Shaker, Rasha Dechamas, in order to be invalid for Eidus Isha, the way we presented last week with the K'tzais and the Nesiva says Reb Kiva Eger, so then you now have a proof from that Gemara that Rala Shamayim, according to Rava, now just redefined what Rasha Dechamas. It's not only a person who can't control his desires, but now a Rasha Dechamas just became someone who is evil to all of the people around him, and he's Ra Lebris. It's not two categories like the Minchas Chinuch says, but it's Kemata Gemara that is understanding the new Havana in the area of Rasha Dechamas. Yeah, Adi.
Quick question. I have a different question.
Yeah.
So why are we posting like Abaye?
Why are we passing like Abaye?
That he basically, the Gemara compares him to Rabbi
Meir.
That halacha is Rabbi Yossi.
So that the Gemara is going to go on. The Gemara is going to go ask your question. We didn't learn that Gemara. The Gemara wants to know why we pass like Abaye. The Gemara is going to say there's stam mishnahs that are like that. Yeah. So that's what the Gemara is going to say. The Gemara is going to have to look for those mishnayos. But that's the Hamshah of the Gemara. Just to see very quickly, the Gemara says v'hilchsa Abaye, kavas de Abaye. So now the Gemara goes on. What? Exactly what Adi just asked. Hilchsa Abaye. You just asked me a tuyufta against Abaye. V'ha isaisif. Abaye was challenged from the brises that were brought earlier. Now you're paskening like Abaye? So the Gemara says, no, those brises are like Rabbi Yossi. Hahi Rabbi Yossi. Ask the Gemara, V'tehavi nami Rabbi Yossi. Yeah, those brises are like Rabbi Yossi, and Adi is 100% right. Rabbi Yossi Reb Meir, halach Rabbi Yossi. So then we should follow like Rabbi Yossi, because Rabbi Yossi and Reb Meir, the halach is like Rabbi Yossi. So the Gemara says, no, Shani Hosam, Distam Lontanak Rabbi Meir. No, over here is different because we have a stomach the Mishnah like Rabbi Meir. Quickly, Ve'eich Stam Lontanak Bar Chama. Oh, listen to this. So there's a whole story over here to prove that there's a Stam Mishnah that's going like Rabbi Meir, that if a person is an Eid Zaymim and Dinei Mominis, he's also going to be invalid in the world of Dinei Fashos. Where do you find such a Stam Mishnah? Says the Gemara, listen to what happened. Yehoda Bar Chama Kotel Nafsha. Bar Chama killed someone. Amar le Reish Galusa le Rab Abba Bar Yaakov. So the Reish Galusa said to Rab Abba Bar Yaakov, Poke ayin ba, look into this matter. Ivadai Kotel, if he taka killed, what? Lechiu le'ene. We should pop out his eye. Obviously, they were limited in how they could punish him. This was already in a time that they weren't manish with Mises Bezdin, but they still wanted to have some sort of hakah, makan ve'enshin shalem and adin. So therefore, that's what Rashi says. Yinak was the butler Mises Bezdin, v'haiknosa avdinale, the Bezdin makan ve'onshin. So there's a major debate between Rashi over here says that Bezdin still had the authority to give hakos and to still administer some punishment, even though Mises Bezdin was stopped and ceased to exist. The Ran says that's ridiculous. If Misas Bezdin didn't exist, so then Makin va'Inchin Shaloim and Adin has also can exist independently in a time when Misas Bezdin doesn't exist. It's only Makin va'Inchin Shaloim and Adin when there is a din of Misas Bezdin, when there is a din of Bezdin administering these punishments. So that's a major machlokes Rashi and the Ran to understand the nature of Bezdin Makin va'Inchin Shaloim and Adin, which would have nafkaminas bisman hazeh if Bezdin could do such a thing. So the Ran says it must have been a special heter of the Reish Galusa and not because of Bezdin Ma'akin Shalom Adin. So what was the case? Amalei Reish Galusa Rababa Barayan Poke Ayin Ba Ivade Kotel L'Chiu Le'enei Osus Trei Sadi. So two Eidim came in Asidu Devade Kotel. So two Eidim said it's taka true. He killed someone. They were made that he killed. Ozil Ihu, he went out. Aisu Trei Sayedi, he had to save himself. He brought two Eidim. Asidu be bechad mehana chad amer kamedidi gonov kaba de chulsha vechad amer kamedidi gonov kasa de burtia. So these two Eidim talked about two different cases, and they both were being made that the Eidim that said that I killed someone were ganovim and were pasul le'edis. So Rabbi say, what's the din with this guy? Who is the murderer over here? Bar Yaakov Bar Chama. So what's the din Torah with Bar Chama? Are these Eidim kosher or pasul? What should it depend on? Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yossi. If you hold your pasul because of a ganav in dinei mominis, so does that now invalidate your Eidus in the world of dinei nefashos? So who do we paskin? Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yossi. So the Gemara, Amar le my daitach Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yossi, halach Rabbi Yossi. So the Gemara says we should still accept these Eidim because the halach is like Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yossi, halach Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi sometimes is a very big Musar Haskell. Sometimes we learn these Gemaras, like the Gemaras in Eruvin. The Gemara has a lengthy Gemaras in the middle of Eruvin. Halach machlokes is this and this. Halach gehu. We daven up these dapim, but then you get to a Gemara and you learn about Bar Chama and you realize, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yossi might actually be an afkamina whether this guy's going to be killed. Mamish, this is important Gemaras of who we paskin la'aloch is going to have ramifications, whether or not Bar Chama's Eidus is acceptable. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Yossi Amar, who's in b'dinei mominis kosher l'dinei nefashos? Amar le, Rav Papi, hani mi lehechdolei stamlon tanik Rabbi Meir. Hacha stamlon tanik Rabbi Meir. That's only when you don't have a stammer like Rabbi Meir. Here we have a stammer like Rabbi Meir. This is your answer ID. Where's the stammer Rabbi Meir? Rimai, ilay mimadis nan, kol aroi lodun dinei nefashos ra loy dinei mominis. Money. The Gemara makes a statement. Anyone who's kosher to be done dinei nefashos is kosher to be done dinei mominis. You know what? We'll stop over here. This is the stam line that we pass like Rabbi Meir, but we're out of time.